now, a Falls City site is being recognized by the National Park Service for playing a role in the Underground Railroad network to freedom.
The Underground Railroad involved secret routes used to help slaves escape into free states. In the 1850s, David and Ann Dorrington lived in Falls City along the Lane Trail where freedom seekers traveled. The Dorringtons provided food and shelter as slaves made their way to the free state of Iowa. In this story, we learn how the site of their former home and barn is being highlighted today.
Hi everybody, we are in Falls City and we are going to learn about Falls City's role in the Underground Railroad. And joining me now with more on this is Dave Kentop. Tell us a little more about this, about the role of the Underground Railroad in the area.
Well, Falls City is, as you know, in the extreme southeastern corner of the state. That was important as far as its role in the Underground Railroad. The Underground Railroad came from Kansas, and we are just 4 miles north of the Kansas line. So this is the first Nebraska stop of the Underground Railroad coming from Topeka, Kansas. Slaves were ferried up. Falls City was actually created by General James H. Lane, and Falls City was a point that he basically thought up as a town to be here as an abolition town. The people who lived at this location where we're standing were David and Ann Dorrington, who were originally from England, and they were persuaded to come up here by Jim Lane in order to start this town. David Dorrington was a carpenter and a joiner. He was a good builder. This became what they call the Lane Trail, coming up from Topeka, going up to Nebraska City and over into Iowa. And the reason the trail came down from Nebraska City through Nebraska was because Missouri was a slave state, and this would help people have safe passage down this trail and avoiding Missouri. This place where we're standing used to be David and Ann Dorrington's house, and they had a barn right in back of it where the slaves were kept. The Dorringtons had a contract with the U.S. Mail to carry mail from Topeka up north, and they used the mail wagons to ferry slaves. They'd be brought usually at night into the barn and sleep there. Ann Dorrington was very instrumental in caring for them. She'd bring them coffee and bread and butter at night without any kind of light, with just a stick to show her the way. And the reason for that is they were being watched, and so that's why this particular corner is very important. The United States National Park Service Network to Freedom has designated this corner as part of their Network to Freedom, and there will be a plaque that will be presented.
And you are a relation to the Dorringtons.
I am. I'm a great grandchild to David and Ann Dorrington. Bob Nelson is another person who has furthered this project and gotten in touch. He's the one that had the contacts with the National Park Service. We put this together. He wrote the application. I helped with information, history.
All right, Dave. Well, thank you very much for telling us about the Underground Railroad, the history of that here in this area, telling us all about the Dorrington homestead and the role it had in the Underground Railroad and the history you can find in this area. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
You can help celebrate the designation of the Dorrington site into the National Underground Railroad Network to Freedom. The unveiling of the plaque that will designate the site will be Friday, November 25th at 5 p.m. at 1601 Stone Street in Falls City. That's right before the lighted Christmas parade at 6 o'clock. So something to do, lots going on there.
All right, moving on now. Wednesday